If you've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, what do the lesions mean on your MRI?
Let's start today!
Hey guys, today's video is all about a response video to one of you guys who left a message in the comment section basically stating that they were wondering if my MRI still shown lesions on them, because if they do, then that means I have not reversed multiple sclerosis. So, there's a few issues that I have with that statement. It's a good question, it's a good statement to make because it's an idea that a lot of people share. You know, in conventional medicine, more often than not, we're looking at the symptom. We're not looking at the cause. So, the symptom for multiple sclerosis, really, it runs the gamut. You could have dizziness, vertigo, slurred speech, pressures on your head, trouble walking, trouble with your appendages, all sorts of things. Now, those are the symptoms, okay? So, what's the result of those symptoms? Now, this is the holistic definition of what's happening. The result of the symptom and what's happening is your immune system finds a toxin or some kind of foreign agent that it's trying to get out, and it's in the brain. So the immune system goes into the brain, tries to expel whatever's in there, and it has a really hard time doing it, and you have collateral damage, meaning it's harming healthy tissue in order to do it. As far as conventional medicine is concerned, it's very arbitrary. There's no rhyme or reason. Your immune just simply decide to turn on you and attacking your brain, and that's what's happening. But as far as the lesions are concerned, as it was explained to me by a board-certified neurologist, a lesion is just a fancy name for the word scar. The neurologist that originally diagnosed me said to me, hey, I could scratch you on your arm and you could bleed and you can wind up with a scar. We could call that a lesion too. It means the same thing. It's no different. But with the scar that you have on your arm, we know where you got that from. You got that because you were scratched. But the scar or lesions that are in the brain, now that's due to, your brain's been harmed. But we don't know what scratched you inside the brain that's caused it. Yeah, it's the immune system, but why? Okay, so a little bit of backstory for me as far as my experience with lesions and what I've seen from myself is, yeah, I had a bunch of lesions going on in the brain. I came up with the MRI, I got the spinal tap and all that stuff. And about a year later, since I was working the protocol, I got another MRI, and the lesions that I had there when I first was diagnosed were still there. I didn't have any more lesions, and to me that was far more important because that tells me that whatever was causing the scarring to begin with stopped. Now, if you could imagine a scar tissue that you have, anywhere on your body, you could have scars from when you were a child. Geez, I have scars on my forehead they're literally fork marks from when I was a baby. Running down, I was carrying a fork and I fell and I hit myself like this with a fork. I'm lucky I didn't stab myself in the eye with the fork.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
And if I were to show you, if you were to look closely enough, you won't be able to see it on camera right here, you'd be able to see those scars. So to say that, the multiple sclerosis is not reversed because I still have the scar tissue, to me just doesn't make sense. If I were to put it one way, you're walking down a flight of steps and there's a little short ledge and you keep on hitting your head. And every time you go down to the basement or wherever, you're gonna keep hitting your head, and every time you do that, you get the scar because, you're bleeding out and everything else. Okay, so now you have all these scars right here. My question is the issue the scars? Or is it the fact that you've been walking down and not watching yourself and you've been banging your head on the ledge going down the basement steps? Okay, well, that's the angle that I'm coming from. So to call lesions a marker of whether or not you've reversed something, to me, doesn't make sense because it's just an indicator of what happened. The fact that I got an MRI and it had the lesions and I got a second one a year later and the same lesions were there but no new ones were there meant that whatever was causing those lesions to begin with, again, stopped.
Okay, you have some skill.
So, if anyone says,
hey, you know what, you've been symptom-free for how long?
Don't let anyone minimize that. because it's a big deal to have symptoms stop. You could live your life, you could go about your business, you could do everything that you've done before, and you could live in a way so that way you're not afraid of something else happening or another flare-up or anything like that. So lesions to me are just an indicator of what's happened, not as what's happening. The disease is not the scar. The disease is not the lesion, based on what my board-certified neurologist explained to me. The disease is the process. The disease is your immune system finding something that doesn't belong in your brain and then wants to go in and remove it. So once you remove that yourself and detox and do everything that's on the protocol that I have in my book or in any of Gary Knoll's books, then that's what you're going to find. You're going to be able to really live your life, but it's really on you, and it depends on how disciplined you are. It depends on how much you're able to get out of your own way to implement everything. It depends on how you can detox and make better choices and, you know, find that happy place as often as possible, and all these other things that I introduce in all my other videos. What's holistic is, it's holistic because it's whole body. It's not that, you know, magic pill mentality. Like,
Okay, well, I'm feeling this way. Well, what vitamin, what supplement can I take?
that's what I used to think.
Well, what's the one thing I can do? What's an herb I can take? What's an essential oil I could take?
It's not that. You literally have to work on the whole body, inside and out, all over. And as long as you can do that and you have the discipline and the drive to do it, then you'll be successful, okay? But it all comes from being able to make that choice in the moment. While you're in that moment, is this helping me or is it not? If it's not directly helping me, then I don't need to engage in it. So again, this is just a response to that statement, and the person that left that statement, thank you very much for leaving that statement, because it really shined a light on the fact that really, yes, I should make a video on this, because it is something that comes up quite often in conversation, and it's a good conversation to have. So I definitely appreciate that. And guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found the information to be helpful and beneficial, please share it. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I have a book on Amazon Kindle, called Get Over Yourself, How I Reversed My Multiple Sclerosis by Kenneth Ciesla. And my name's Kenneth Ciesla, 11 years MS-free. Self-empowerment is the key. I'll see you guys on the next video. And my buddy Chen's, roll the video.
Let's start today.